Almost every piece of advice about when to visit India points you toward the same window: October through March, the cool, dry season, when the heat is manageable, the skies are clear, and the monsoon is safely behind you. It's good advice as far as it goes. It's also advice that, followed without questioning, causes most tourists to miss some of the most extraordinary travel windows India offers, and to arrive in the country's most popular destinations at exactly the moment when everyone else has arrived there too. The timing question in India is more interesting than it appears, and the reason it's more interesting is the monsoon. Not because the monsoon is secretly wonderful in ways that nobody admits. It isn't in many places, but because the monsoon is not what most people think it is, which is a uniform blanket of rain that descends on the entire country from June through September and makes everything inaccessible. It isn't that. It's a progressive weather system that moves, that has a direction and a pace, that creates a moving map of wet and dry across an enormous subcontinent, and that in doing so produces a set of regional timing windows that the standard October to March advice completely fails to capture. Understanding the monsoon properly is the key to understanding Indian timing, so start there. The monsoon arrives in India from the southwest, making landfall on the Kerala coast in late May or early June before advancing northeast across the subcontinent over the following 6 to 8 weeks. By July, it has typically reached the Gangetic Plain, the Himalayas, and eventually the northeast. It then retreats in the reverse direction, withdrawing from the northwest first, from Rajasthan and the north by September, from the south by late November. This means that at any given moment during the monsoon months, different parts of India are at completely different stages of the system. One region entering the rains, one in the peak, one in the retreat, and, critically, some regions barely touched by the monsoon at all. That last category is where the first counterintuitive insight lives, and it's a significant one. Ladakh, the high-altitude desert region in the far north of India, sits on the northern side of the Himalayan ranges that block the monsoon's advance. While the rest of the north floods in July and August, Ladakh receives almost no rain. It's in a rain shadow, shielded by the very mountains that channel the monsoon elsewhere. The result is that July and August, the months most tourists are fleeing India or avoiding the subcontinent entirely, are the best months to visit Ladakh. The mountain passes that provide road access to the region open in June and close in October, so the window is defined less by the monsoon than by snow. But the peak of summer, the months that are miserable in Rajasthan or Delhi, are when Ladakh's high-altitude landscape is at its most accessible. The roads are reliable, the skies are clear, and the Buddhist monasteries perched on cliffs above turquoise rivers are operating in the full golden light of a Himalayan summer. Tourists who know this plan around it. Tourists who apply the generic India timing advice never get there at all. Kerala, on the southwest coast, offers a different kind of monsoon insight. The state receives the monsoon first, and it receives it heavily. This is one of the wettest places in Asia during the rains, with the Arabian Sea driving moisture against the Western Ghats in quantities that make the landscape extraordinary. The backwaters turn silver. The rice paddies go intensely green. The waterfalls that are trickles in February become something else entirely by July. And within the Ayurvedic tradition that Kerala practices more seriously than anywhere else in India, the monsoon is considered the best time for treatment. The humidity and the temperature open the body's pores and channels in ways that practitioners argue make the famous panchakarma and other treatments more effective than in the dry season. Specialized wellness travelers and serious students of Ayurveda deliberately come to Kerala in June and July for exactly this reason, while general tourists stay away because they've been told to. Both groups are making decisions based on what they came for, and both are right for their own purposes, which is precisely the point. Rajasthan, the desert state that most tourists visit for its forts and palaces and the painted Havelis of Shekhawati, is primarily a winter destination, October through February, when the desert is cold at night and warm in the day, and the famous golden light of Jaisalmer and Jodhpur is at its most photogenic. Summer in Rajasthan is genuinely brutal, with temperatures regularly above 45 degrees Celsius that make outdoor exploration not just uncomfortable, but medically inadvisable for extended periods. This is the part of the standard advice that actually holds. Summer in the Rajasthani desert is the wrong time, and the heat is not something that good planning or preparation overcomes. But And this is the timing nuance most guides skip entirely. Rajasthan during the monsoon, which arrives late and lightly compared to the rest of India, receives enough rain to turn the normally parched landscape briefly green in a way that happens nowhere else, and the famous blue city of Jodhpur and the white city of Udaipur under monsoon skies have an atmosphere completely different from their winter selves. Not better for everyone, and certainly not without logistical complication, but genuinely spectacular for the traveler who arrives knowing what they'll find rather than what they expected. The Himalayan foothills of Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh, Rishikesh, Mussoorie, Dharamsala, follow the same general logic as Ladakh in terms of altitude moderating summer heat, but unlike Ladakh, they are directly in the monsoon's path. Trekking in these areas is limited from July through September by rain and leeches and poor visibility, and the high passes that the best routes cross are dangerous or impassable in wet conditions. The windows here are pre-monsoon, April through early June, when the rhododendrons are in bloom and the trails are clear and the weather is warm enough for camping but not yet overwhelming, and post-monsoon, October and November, when the skies are scrubbed clear by the rains and the Himalayan peaks are visible in a clarity that the haze of summer and the clouds of monsoon both obscure. The Ganges Plain, Delhi, Agra, Varanasi, Lucknow, is where the October to March advice is most straightforwardly correct and where deviating from it most clearly costs you. Delhi in May and June is genuinely extreme. Not hot by European standards, but a kind of dry, sustained heat that the body processes as a physical challenge rather than mere discomfort. Agra in August is the Taj Mahal in heat and haze with monsoon humidity added. Varanasi in the monsoon floods occasionally, and the Ghats that define the city's relationship with the river are underwater at high water. Winter in the north, November through February, brings cold fog to Delhi and the surrounding region that can ground flights and disrupt trains, and is rarely mentioned in the October to March advice because it arrives after the advice points you there, but it's real and worth knowing about when planning around Delhi, specifically in December and January. The south, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, has a different monsoon entirely, the northeast monsoon, which arrives on the Coromandel coast in October and November, while the southwest monsoon is retreating. This means Chennai and the Tamil coast are wettest in October and November, the months the rest of India is perfectly dry, and driest in the spring and early summer. The famous temples of Tamil Nadu, Hampi's ruins in Karnataka, and the Deccan tradition layering of Bangalore are all best approached in the South's own dry season, which corresponds to the North's increasingly hot spring, which is one of the cleaner scheduling opportunities for a trip that wants to avoid peak season crowds in the North. Go south in March and April, when the North is warming and the South is at its best, and head north in October and November, when the South gets its own rains. And then there's the festival calendar, which in India runs continuously through the year and which interacts with the weather calendar in ways that produce some of the most compelling travel windows available anywhere. Diwali, the Festival of Lights, falls in October or November depending on the lunar calendar and transforms every city and town and village in the country for several days with a combination of oil lamps and fireworks and sweets and family reunions that is genuinely unlike any other public celebration on Earth. Holi, the Color Festival, happens in February or March in a wall of colored powder and water and noise that is one of the most viscerally joyful public events in the world, and Vrindavan and Mathura, the spiritual homeland of the festival, do it at a scale and intensity that makes the rest of the country look restrained. The Pushkar Camel Fair in Rajasthan in October or November is part livestock market and part pilgrimage and part spectacle, and it happens at the moment Rajasthan is entering its best season. Navratri and Durga Puja in October pull the country into different celebrations in different regions simultaneously, Bengal doing it one way, Gujarat doing it in a completely different way, both extraordinary in their own registers. The festival calendar doesn't override the weather calendar, but it modifies it in ways that are worth building around rather than ignoring. A trip time to land inside Diwali is a different India from the one that arrives 2 weeks earlier. The extra research to align your visit with something specific and significant pays dividends that no amount of comfortable weather independently provides. So when then? For a first trip covering the Golden Triangle and Rajasthan, October through February is genuinely the correct window, with December and January bringing the fog caveat in Delhi and the northern cities. For Kerala and the southwest, November through March avoids the southwest monsoon entirely, while the northeast monsoon misses the region, making these the driest and most reliable months, with the exception of travelers specifically seeking the Ayurvedic monsoon experience, who come in June and July deliberately. For the Himalayan foothills and trekking, April through early June or October and November, with the specific route dictating which shoulder works better. For Ladakh, July and August, counterintuitively, with June and September as the shoulder edges of the accessible season. For Tamil Nadu and the south, spring and early summer, when the north is getting hot and the south is at its driest. For the entire country simultaneously, there is no such month. The subcontinent is too large, too climatically varied, and too internally differentiated for any single month to be the best time to visit India. This isn't a cop-out. It's the honest version of a timing answer for a country that contains, within its political borders, the equivalent of multiple continents of climate. The useful version of the question is always regional, and the traveler who asks, "When should I go to Ladakh?" or "When should I go to Kerala?" gets a real answer. The traveler who asks, "When should I go to India?" gets the October to March answer, which is correct for part of the country and misleading about the rest. The monsoon is not the enemy. It is a system that moves, that creates as it passes, and that the tourist who understands it can use rather than simply avoid. That understanding is the difference between India as a destination with one good season and India as a destination with windows in every season, smaller, more specific, more rewarding precisely because almost nobody is looking for them. Thanks for watching. If you found this useful, smash that like button and subscribe to When to Travel. We're all about helping you make smarter travel decisions. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. And hey, if you think your friends need this, share it. Comment below with your next destination or your biggest travel question. I'm reading all of them. Let's go.